Well, look, let's talk about this now with Amy Tarkanian. She's a Republican strategist and a former chair of the Nevada Republican Party. Very good afternoon to you, Amy.
Hello.
Hi. Well, we all woke up this morning, as we often do here on the eastern side of the Atlantic, to what has Donald Trump done now? And around midnight our time, he paused all US military aid to Ukraine. By all accounts, Keir Starmer didn't know it was going to happen. Certainly in the House of Commons, he didn't yesterday, making statements. It wasn't what he expected. Even Donald Trump had said he had not even talked about suspending military aid to Ukraine. But now he has. And we think it's in reaction to what Zelensky had to say in an interview, talking about how the end of the war in Ukraine is still very, very far away. This clearly riled Donald Trump. And after a meeting with his Vice President J.D. Vance and his Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he's basically suspended and paused this US aid. Was it the right thing to do?
Well, I think what's happening here, and first of all, I agree with Candace's assessment as well as yours on this scenario. And, you know, you have a president who wants peace. And apparently, you know, they felt that President Zelensky was disrespectful. They felt he was ungrateful. They felt that he was unwilling to actually come to the table. And the fact that he is continuing to, you know, call President Putin names, which, you know, they're probably correct, you know, names to actually be called. But they said you can't do that and be diplomatic and expect for the other side to come to the
But Donald Trump
seat.
called Zelensky a dictator.
Oh,
Some of the stuff that Elon Musk has said is outrageous.
It's a one-way street if you haven't realized. President Trump is the man who likes to be in charge. He's the one who likes to be the schoolyard bully. And so he will strong-arm a situation to make sure that he can get his way. And so I don't think that he's necessarily you know, supporting Putin. I just think that the fact that he's wanting both sides to give and take.
No, he hasn't asked Russia. No, that's not true. He has not asked Russia to give up anything. He hasn't told them they need to retreat from any territory. He's not asking for any deals. He's not asking them to, you know, return Ukrainian children who've been abducted. He's not asked a single thing of Vladimir Putin. And indeed, he's even said he wants to relax sanctions on Putin and his oligarch henchmen. I mean, he's not asking for anything. He's quite clearly only on one side.
Well, you know, I mean, that very well may be true. But last night we heard from Vice President Vance, and he actually said what I had just mentioned, that they were waiting for both sides to give and take. So whether if that's true or not is yet to be, you know,
but they haven't. But they've made demands of one side only. And again, this absurd J.D. Vance line constantly about how, you know, when are you going to apologise? Zelensky has thanked the US publicly, let alone privately, publicly, for their help 94 times.
94? I didn't know it was that many.
94.
Well, I know that the economic mineral deal was already set to move forward, and then that was squashed when they had that embarrassing scenario at the Oval Office. And, you know, I was just mortified by everyone's behavior in that room.
Well, I mean, I don't know what people think Zelensky did wrong, otherwise pointing out some basic facts, as Emmanuel Macron had done on Tuesday, which actually you haven't given load more aid than, and ours aren't loans either. You know, just pointing out facts. Donald Trump doesn't like to be told, well, actually, something you've just said is wrong. The point at which Donald Trump got riled up on Friday in the Oval Office was when Zelensky pointed out that we've done diplomatic negotiations. We've done deals with Russia before, after the invasion of Crimea, and when we did that, Putin reneged on every single aspect of that negotiation. He can't be trusted. And this is when Donald Trump got all riled up, defending Vladimir Putin. But this is the thing. Elon Musk has tweeted in the last 24 hours, Zelensky wants a forever war, a never-ending graft meat grinder. Both those men keep saying Zelensky doesn't want peace. Of course he wants peace. It's his people who are dying. It's him who has to live in a bunker with his family. For goodness sake, of course he wants peace. The question is, peace on what terms? Why do so many Republicans back Trump on this? I mean, Marco Rubio This wasn't what he was saying only a couple of years ago. What has changed, and how strong is the support for Donald Trump on this? Because I was saying on the show earlier, I think if Donald Trump tomorrow said, right, we're going to give all the aid possible, we're even going to send US troops to fight Putin in Ukraine and help Ukraine win the war, I think the same people right now who are cheering Trump on would cheer him on straight away tomorrow, going, yeah, USA, USA.
Well, I think the problem is the financial aspect, and the fact that the U.S. has contributed. I think it's now roughly over $300 billion. But we can blame President Biden.
Don't think it is that high, actually. I think it's about half that.
Oh, half that? Well, okay.
I mean, what's 150 billion down the back of the sofa?
Right. So American citizens overall, not members of the House, not members of, Republican Congress, who are fearful, I think, to some extent, when it comes to wanting to be reelected. And so that's why they just kowtow to whatever President Trump has to say at any given moment. But if you're talking to a U.S. citizen, there is a lot of concern with the amount of money that has been funneled to this war, because we've heard from President Zelensky and also President Biden, where has all the money gone? Where has all the weaponry gone? And there's not a full account for everything that we've contributed.
It's been used against the Russians. Look, there is corruption. I mean, sorry, let's go back to Afghanistan and Iraq, the level of abject corruption there. It's being used against the Russians. I just think there is corruption. It's a corrupt country. Every former Soviet Union country is corrupt. We know that's one of the reasons why they failed, because of that. But it is just absurd that this should be the argument against that. We would never have gone into any state ever if it wasn't for that level. It's a massive level of corruption in America in terms of these deals. One of the reasons why America spends so much on military is because of these pork barrel deals where you spend 3 times as much on something because to please some random senator from Wyoming who's got a factory in his constituency. Yeah. I mean, this is mad. Can I just bring you some breaking news? Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken for the first time since that withdrawal of all military aid to Ukraine from Donald Trump. The Ukrainian president said that he has spoken with Friedrich Merz, he's Germany's next chancellor, about further cooperation between the countries. And he said that we remember that Germany is a leader in supplying air defence systems to Ukraine, plays a crucial role in ensuring our financial stability. No mention whatsoever of the US suspending aid. Now, what do you think needs to happen for Zelensky to get back in the room with Donald Trump? I'm sure what he was hoping last week was, I'll agree to sign this mineral deal, but I'm a very persuasive guy. I'll be able to persuade behind the scenes Donald Trump to give us some security guarantees and we'll be able to get it over the line. He didn't get that. It's therefore not worth signing because it's basically a surrender to the Russians. What do you think that Zelensky or indeed European leaders can do to try and mend this?
Well, I think the whole purpose of pulling out just temporarily on the funding is to make sure that European nations step up their game. And then remember, this is temporary. So, I think the US will end up coming back as long as, and unfortunately, this is a very petty thing that we're hearing, is that they want a public apology from President Zelensky in order to move forward. So, we're dealing with some interesting characters and personalities, and it's unfortunate because people are dying. And so, it's a scary situation. But I think the whole reason that Donald Trump is doing this is to say, hey, everyone else, you need to step it up and come help, and then maybe we'll come back to the table.
Well, except, of course, that him doing that and talking about relaxing economic sanctions on Russia actually makes a bad peace. Yeah, you can have peace. You can have peace at any time. When someone, bad peace is easy to get as long as you don't mind being totally surrendering to your aggressive force. You can have peace straight away. I mean, when you want a good peace that actually protects the nation state of Ukraine and those people living in freedom, that's a completely different matter. But everything that Donald Trump has done and said since he became president when it comes to Ukraine has actually strengthened Putin's hand.
And I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think the problem is it's the financial scenario and the fact that you have constituents that are done, and so you have members of Congress that are hearing from these constituents, and they're saying enough is enough. We need to quit sending
But
our
wait a minute, but aren't
hard-earned
they
tax
saying
dollars.
that because that's the line that's being pushed by Trump and the MAGA movement? And if he changed his tune, and again the bots on the trolls on social media and the abject lack of correct information and most of these messages, I mean, they're laughable. If it wasn't the fact they're going to cost people's lives, they are laughable. And a lot of the stuff that Trump has said, absolutely, utterly ignorant of most of the facts about this war. It's actually bizarre that anyone could be president and not know this stuff. And but J.D. Vance hasn't got that excuse. He absolutely knows what he's doing.
Right.
But if Donald Trump changed his tune, those people would change their tune. They only push this line because it's the MAGA fashionable line to take.
Yes, they would. And I'm not agreeing with what's going on by any means. I'm just sharing with you what I'm hearing, and it is valid on what you're seeing. You call them the trolls on social media, but you have people on the ground that are repeating it. So yes, I agree with you. If Donald Trump were to say the sky is purple, everyone would say the sky is purple. And so, that's a scenario that we're having to deal with. And, you have a president whose motto is "Make America Great Again." And so everyone, that is a full-blown supporter of his is like, that's right. It's America first. And everyone else can just, push off.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I think that's a perfectly legitimate position for an American president to take. I think they should be looking after... Look, I massively agree with him on immigration policy, on net zero, on wokeism, on Israel. I think he's been superb. I think he's massively wrong on this. But also very big question marks about another big policy that's come into force today, and that is the tariffs on China, on Mexico and Canada. I mean, two of your biggest allies, Mexico and Canada, facing bigger tariffs than China, a hostile nation state. But we've already got retaliatory tariffs from China and Canada. Talk about them coming on the EU very soon. Who knows what happens to Britain? You know as well as I do, look, the Republicans for many years, they're for low tax, aren't they? Does Donald Trump even understand that tariffs are a tax and they make goods more expensive for American consumers?
Well, tonight he's going to be addressing Congress and the nation at 9 p.m. Eastern time. He's going to have to do an excellent job at explaining a number of issues, and especially this one, because a lot of people are really concerned. And we saw the stock market actually go down about 900 points, I think it was, when he made the announcement. So people are worried because our economy is, still struggling, and things are very expensive for people. So, and we are seeing already countries retaliating and saying, well, we're going to increase our tariffs on you. Or you even hear the Premier of Ontario say, well, we're going to cut off your electricity that we provide. That was a little extreme. But I think what Donald Trump is actually attempting to do is level the playing field, supposedly, and doesn't want to be taken advantage of. So he wants the tariffs to be reciprocal. And he actually wants manufacturing jobs to be brought to the United States, where then obviously you wouldn't have to pay that tariff and you could enjoy, lower tax rates.
Yeah, but that was what he was supposed to do. When he did his first term, he got rid of the NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Association, and when he replaced that with another deal, which basically, for all intents and purposes, was the same thing. You didn't see that sort of reshoring that he was talking about. I'm just amazed that the Republicans are in favour of this. I really do. And I'm not sure a world trade war is exactly what will help the economy this time. But there we are. Always good to talk to you. So appreciate your thoughts on all this. Amy Tarkanian, Republican strategist there.